It's Tony Chase. I'm coming to you hot after Belmont weekend. This two-day festival held at Saratoga brought me an unbelievable surprise. Let's not waste any time and get right to the action. I said it's a Friday-Saturday blog, but we'll start off with a little action on Thursday night at Canterbury Park. Canterbury is a small racetrack in Minnesota, very colorful, unique announcer, and turf races with good-sized fields. That's enough for me. Let's make a play. Take a look at the race card here. We've got an odds-on favorite, the 5, Kooky Berry. The 1 looks to be the second favorite. Let's do some quick capping. This 5 has not raced since September. Seems to be looking a little lazy in her workouts. 4 to 5? I'm not buying it. The second favorite, the 1, has raced only 2 times in her career, both on dirt. Didn't really do that great on dirt. This race is just screaming for long shots. So I end up playing a Superfecta ticket. I actually play the same 40-cent Superfecta ticket twice. I put the 3, 6, 8, 9 in first. I do put the 5 in second and third because she's a heavy favorite. She could end up in the middle of the pack. Third place I go long, 6 runners. And then I put that same 3, 6, 8, 9 in fourth. Let's try to get some prices. And they're racing. We've got our Superfecta locked in. We want the 1 and 5 to underperform. Let's get some long shots. Let's start Belmont weekend the right way. Come on, Canterbury. It's a 5 furlong race. It'll be over in less than 60 seconds. The 1 is in the back the whole time. No worries there. The 5 is up towards the front, but also underperforms just like we wanted. The 9 takes the lead in the stretch. I know she's a price. I know I've got her in first. I start to get excited. The 5 doesn't even hit the board. Did we hit? 9, 4, 6, 8 is the order of finish. We had 9, 6, 4, 8. The 4 just couldn't fall back to third. The 6 had to fade one spot in the stretch. This is going to be a monster Superfecta. We just missed. Ouch. That one stings. The payouts show that a $1 super pays over $10,000. We had 80 cents. We would have cashed huge. One mistake in the middle of the ticket. My theory was right that these favorites were real vulnerable, but I still can't connect. Our first bet of Belmont weekend ends up costing us $86.40. All right, I'm definitely a little frustrated after that previous race, so I go back to Canterbury and try to crush the next Superfecta. It's not how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you get up. I try to shoot the moon with a $7 super, singling the 9 in first, putting the 1 and 2 in second, a couple horses in third, and the 1 or 4 in fourth. This was a greedy ticket, but whatever, 50 bucks, let's try to bring one home. I took the 9 because there was a lot of money on the horse before the race. You see 5 to 2 was the off odds, but I was seeing 6 to 5 or 7 to 5 when I bet it. AIHorsePicks.com also liked the 9. I'm sold. It was a mile race, which ends up taking a little more than a minute and a half, so I'll cut to the end, and you can see that we get our 9, and we get the 2 in second, the 1 in third, and the damn 8 takes fourth. We were really skinny on our ticket for fourth place. We only had the 1 and 4, but I still feel like this was a tough beat. The Superfecta did pay a cool $500 with favorites in first, second, and third. If my $7 ticket hit, I'm looking at $3K plus. That's how this game goes sometimes. Moving on to Friday, Belmont Stakes Eve. We're going to start off with a straightforward win bet, and we're going to up the stakes a little bit. $100 on the 1 and 5 in the 8th at Churchill. Both horses are 6 to 1. If we can cash this one, we'll start our Friday with a nice $500 win. That $150 we lost yesterday at Canterbury will be a distant memory. The main favorite in this race, the 7, Brilliant Birdie, went off at even money. Halfway through, looks like anyone's race. Our 1's tucked in on the rail, getting a decent trip. Our 5 is sitting in dead last, which you don't like to see, but like I said, anything is still possible at this point. Unfortunately, Birdie turned out to be as brilliant as he sounds, and he draws off in the stretch to win easy. We take a $200 hit, but the day is just getting started. After Churchill, we go to the main attraction of the weekend, Belmont at Saratoga, and we slow our roll just a little bit by firing $100 on one single horse, the 4, Radio Red. Looked okay in the form, was usually bet heavy in his previous races. Dylan Davis had ridden this horse several times. He was always up front, ran against similar competition. None of that mattered. He starts near the back of the pack, never makes a run, finishes, I think, in last place. Is that what we got? Brutal. Come on, Belmont Weekend, let's pick it up. At this point, there's only one word to describe it: cold. Down 300 today, 150 last night, and I swing and miss a few more times. Minus 100 at Santa Anita, minus 100 at Belterra, minus 50 at Laurel. You start to doubt yourself after this many misses in a row, especially when you're not even that close. I almost hit that superfecta at Laurel, but it only paid around $300 anyway. Not what you want from a superfecta. I got to change it up somehow here. We're going to go back to Belmont where the pools are massive. One type of bet I like to play on big weekends like this is a 2-day daily double. It's usually one race on a Friday as the first leg and the main Saturday race as the second leg. On this Friday afternoon, Belmont was offering this type of bet for almost every stakes race on the Friday card. If you hit the first leg on a Friday, you get to go to bed with the hope of a big score on Saturday. You wake up the next day, feel like a kid on Christmas, knowing you could be a big winner in the Belmont. So, I decide to try this in the Intercontinental Stakes, race 9. I take the 2 or 7 to win today, and I single Sierra Leone in the Belmont Stakes, tomorrow's race. Sierra was probably going to be the favorite, but if the 2 or 7 win this race, I'd be alive to like $1,500, maybe $2,000. This is our first try today on one of these special daily double pools. Let's see what happens. Our 2, who's 6 to 1, gives us a bit of hope here as she takes the early lead. This race is a 5.5 furlong sprint stakes race. High quality horses. You gotta think the front runner may have a chance to hold. The favorite ends up being a real short price, 1 to 2. Our 7 horse is actually 33 to 1. She's the long shot who you'd like most to win, but I'll be happy with the 2 as well. A 21.3 second first quarter is a bit of a hot pace, but Coffee Maker holds the lead into the stretch. Nice rail ride. Come on, finish the race and we can look to tomorrow. But the 2 does lose at the wire to Paco Lopez, a 10 to 1 shot. Right idea, wrong horse. We lose $100, but there's a lot of action left. After that loss, I make what you would call a pretty questionable wager. I change from Belmont to Ruidoso Downs, a racetrack you may never have heard of, and I'm a little ashamed to admit that I have, but I just take $50, I throw $25 on the 3, a 9 to 2 shot, and then I throw a $25 straight 6-4 exacta down. You do miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Our 3 is obviously my realistic play, and I kind of just threw the exacta in to take a favorite over a long shot. Our 3 gets up to the lead early, sitting in second or third, which is good to see. You don't want your horse to tire out by setting the pace. However, the favorite ends up romping, and this was the first half of our exacta. We need the 4 to get into second. At the turn, it's looking pretty ugly, but in true Ruidoso Downs fashion, the cameraman seems to cut the second, third, and fourth place finish off the camera feed. You will notice at the last second that the 4 was kind of closing ground. Maybe there's a chance. Sure enough, the horses run back into the camera view, and you won't believe it, but the 4 may have just squeaked it out. It's a 9 to 5 over 9 to 1 exacta that pays $23.10 for just $1, so we collect $577.50 off our $50 investment. I guess that worked out. Not going to act like I'm the horse betting god here. Sometimes you just get lucky. A nice win there, but it kind of snapped me back to reality. It felt like complete luck. These plays will not work out in the long run. I take my money back to Belmont. This next race, the Just a Game Stakes, it's a grade 1 1-mile race for fillies and mares, $500,000 purse. This is a good one. I once again focus on those 2-day daily double pools. You remember my last daily double, I took Sierra Leone to win the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. I actually flipped a bit here since I wanted to take the favorite, Coppice. 2 favorites won't pay much, so I took Coppice over 3 long shots in the Belmont: Resilience, Dornoch, and Anna Marie. I bet big. I do a $100 daily double plus another $50 with Resilience and Anna Marie. Total bet $400. Come on, Coppice. This Chad Brown filly is one of 5 entries for Chad in the race. Ran at Churchill once already, just lost by a neck. Getting bet heavy. I saw the horse being touted on X. I follow the money today and hope for the long shot tomorrow. All right, Coppice, do your thing. She's in the back of the pack to start the race, but this is her running style. She's a late flyer. There is some initial pace to the first quarter mile as it clocks in at 23 4/5 of a second. She moves up to the middle of the pack, looks loaded and ready to fly. Glad she got out of dead last. Half mile in 48.64, not too much change. Eventually, she moves up into 4th towards the home stretch. I'm starting to get a little worried, but it's still anybody's race. Unfortunately, it looks like there may have been a little bit of traffic, maybe not. But either way, the 6 actually came from the back of the pack, flew up to win. Irad Ortiz Jr. wins on the 4-1 shot chili flag. She won her last time out too at Churchill Downs on May 4th. Actually had money to win on her back then. Today, I dropped her in favor of the European Invader, and it cost me $400 in daily doubles. These stupid daily doubles, I can't even pick one winner. I'm starting to regret playing these fancy exotics. Decide to lean back into simple win bets. Next up is the second to last race at Belmont here on Friday, and it's the New York Stakes, a 9.5 furlong turf race with a $750,000 purse for fillies and mares 4 and up. We try to beat the favorite here, and we go back to simple bets, 100 to win on the 3, Didia, ridden by Jose Ortiz, and I also do 50 on the 1 and 7. I especially like the 7, Nietzsche Marie. Did not think she should be 25 to 1. A winner here would pay between $650 and $1,300. Our total bet is $200. Let's go. This race is almost 2 minutes long, and you've been with me for a while, so I'm going to give it to you quick. We cut to the home stretch, and sure enough, the 3, Didia, scores the victory by 2 lengths over one of our other horses, Nietzsche Marie. I saw this race well. I hate to bring up the exacta, but it did pay nearly $250 to 1. Still, with $100 to win on Didia, it paid out $1,030 for a total race profit of $830. This was what I asked for, and the racing gods delivered. And so we go to the final race of the video, the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. But wait, how did we get here? Wasn't it just Friday? Well, I have to come clean. In that last race on Friday where I had Didia to win for 100, I also singled Didia in one of those 2-day daily doubles. I couldn't quite bring myself to skip them completely, and what do you know? For $80 straight, I singled Didia on Friday, a long shot in the Belmont on Saturday, and I was looking at a $15,000 score. After I saw my potential payout, all the races up until the Belmont were just a little less interesting. I channeled all my energy into my Belmont long shot, hoping for a sick 5-figure score. Let's do a quick recap of the race, and I'll show you what long shot I took. Now, the Belmont Stakes is normally a 1.5 miles, 12 furlongs, a true test of endurance to finish the Triple Crown of horse racing. This year, though, since Belmont is under construction, this race was held at Saratoga. Only was 1.25 miles, the same distance as the Kentucky Derby. One of the trends of this special weekend was seeing speed hold in the dirt races. What does that mean? It means the horses going out for the lead were holding that lead and managing to hang on. This race played out exactly that way. As Dornoch and Seize the Grey battled for an early lead, Dornoch ends up sitting back in second and then had just enough gas in the tank down the stretch, held off Mindframe, the 10-horse ridden by Irad Ortiz, and he won. Dornoch, a long shot, 17 to 1, and I did say I needed one. Was that my pick? Boom. $15,080 off an $80 ticket. I sure did have Dornoch. If you remember my earlier losing daily doubles, I had Dornoch, Honor Marie, and Resilience, so you may have guessed it right. Thankfully, Dornoch was the one of those 3 that I stuck with. Why? This horse had not only one of the best jockeys in the world, Luis Saez, but the horse had a real tough Kentucky Derby. In that race, he broke from the one post, notoriously bad post position in the Derby. He also got bumped in the race, but if you look at his prior races, he looked pretty good. He even came back and beat Sierra Leone in the Belmont Stakes at Aqueduct, and Sierra Leone was the favorite today. Seize the Gray and Mystic Dan were probably tired from having to run in the Preakness, and with a track that favored a speed bias, a well-rested Dornoch was my play. This was incredible, and even as I recap this several days after my hit, I'm still in a state of shock seeing my $80 last second play turn into exactly $15,000 profit. And that's a wrap. A monster score on Belmont weekend. I will remember this win forever. This game has ups and downs, and for me, this weekend was a big, big up. I hope you had some luck yourself. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tony Chase here, signing off.